Alright everybody, welcome back. It is time for the Tactic Hive Beta Cup semifinals here. Actually, no, not semifinals. Semifinals are tomorrow. So we are in the round of 16 right now. Group stages ended earlier this morning, and the top two teams from Group 1 and 2 are facing off right now. That will be Textbook Dota versus P252. They're going under the team name THD, and I can't remember. It wasn't Twin-Headed Dragon. That's actually what THD stands for, but that's not the case here. I can't remember, but just for your reference, in-game THD is P252, the undefeated champions of Group 1. I'm not exactly sure if the website is updated properly, but as it stands, it says that two teams went 6-0 in the group stages, which doesn't make sense. Oh yeah, okay, no, it's updated now. So it just took a little bit. So P252 completely undefeated in their group stages, 7-0 games, 7 wins, 0 losses, and coming in second was Stan and Pals, who lost only to P252, and they were 6-1. So right now, like I said, P252, yeah, Tryhard Dota, that's what it stood for, THD. So yeah, Tryhard Dota, THD versus Textbook Dota, so definitely going to be a great match. Now, let's look back at the brackets here. For group number 2, Textbook Dota finished their group stage as 6-1, so they stomped their way through. Actually, what? Huh. Something odd is afoot here. Actually, no, that makes sense. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was supposed to be the top team from Group 1 and the top team from Group 2 together, but then I realized it wouldn't make sense to stick a top-tier team against another top-tier team when they are also letting in the second place from each group. So, first place from Group 1, second place from Group 2 are facing off here. So Textbook Dota, second place in their group, they went 6-1, and No Earth Spirit went 7-0. So, if anything I said is confusing, which I am absolutely sure it is, go check out Cptn.Canuck. They have all of the information from the group stages up there, as well as the brackets aren't up yet, but they will have the brackets for the round of 16 onward posted up there, so check that out. Now, getting into this draft here, we've got some stuff going on right away. Tryhard Dota, THD, P252 gets rid of the Nature's Prophet and the Lycan, so they're fearing that push a little bit, and just make sure that's not on the board. Textbook Dota goes for a little bit more meta bans here. They get rid of the Ember Spirit and the Ancient Apparition, and then following that we have an Invoker pickup by Textbook Dota, and Nyx Assassin and Mirana taken by Tryhard. So, lots of pretty standard meta heroes here. The Nyx Assassin has been seeing a lot of popularity, and I've actually seen him first banned a couple times in recent weeks, so he's definitely getting up there, but for now he's going to be the first pick. Slips through the first ban pool, but understandably so. The Mirana is taken right after that, and I have a feeling this is going to be a mid or an offlane Mirana. Generally, when you have those first two picks together, you want to... If you take a Mirana in your first two picks, generally you want to pick a hero to combo with her right off the bat if you're going to be putting her on Trilane. So if you say, okay, we want to go on aggro Trilane with Bane Mirana, you snatch that up in your first two picks, because otherwise the other team has an opportunity to interrupt that combo. So instead they grab the Nyx Assassin off the bat with Mirana, so I have a feeling it's going to be an offlane or a mid Mirana. We'll have to see what it is. Nyx Assassin, though, has he's been seeing a lot of offlane play. And I prefer him on a support myself, but it really depends how you want to play him. And like I said, I am more of a fan of support Nyx and mid Nyx, but offlane Nyx is definitely viable, and some teams have been showing us that that is indeed the case. So Vengeful Spirit. No, that hero starts with a V, but that's not what I meant to say. Visage is the pickup here for Textbook Dota. So just going for a lot of strong heroes right off the bat. No particular synergy between the two, but they will serve them very well if they can be played to the best of their abilities. So getting into the second banning stage here, we've got the Puck, the Bane, and the Rubik taken out. And like I said, if you don't take that Mirana combo in the same pick, it's going to get interrupted in some way or another. And in this case, it was a ban out by Textbook Dota. They get rid of the Bane, so that's not available. You can still go for something like a Shadow Demon or another single target stun, like even a support Alchemist or something like that, if you want to try the arrow combo, like Naga Siren even. But I have a feeling feel it in my bones, man. Mirana's going to be going elsewhere. So, we'll see. The Rubik Band up by Tryhard Dota, so they get rid of that. And just fearing that a lot of their spells are very easy to steal. And I would agree. Invoker is a fantastic hero to steal spells from because everything you grab is going to be good. And Visage, of course, if you can snatch Soul Assumption or a Bird Summon or something like that, you can be a real pain in the ass. Now, Sand King's going to be their final ban out, and then they go right into a Shadow Shaman pickup. So they've got a very nasty set of supports here. If the Nyx is indeed a support, which I believe he will be, but for now, we'll see. Let's see. That Shadow Shaman is really, really, really nasty, and he's seeing a lot of play lately. I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit because he brings a weird dynamic to team fights, and the fact that when he drops Serpent Wards, the other team kind of has to back away from that centralized point. If those wards are down, you can't stop to focus them because they take quite a few attacks. It kind of serves the same purpose as, say, like an Undying Tombstone, where if you want to break it, one of your heroes is going to have to commit 3 to 4 seconds to knocking it out, and even more in the case of Shadow Shaman. But, I mean, it just causes so much havoc in the middle of a team fight. Now, if you don't use it well, if you kind of just throw it down as you're pushing a tower and the enemy team is in position, they can get rid of it. But, you know, it can be really, really nasty. So you kind of have a big zoning tool there, and as well, Shadow Shaman, just one of the best controlling supports in the game. I mean, he's got a lot of utility in the fact that he has the Hex and the Shackles, which for a combined total is 3.5 and 5 seconds. So 8.5 seconds of disable on a single target. That is absolutely humongous. So definitely something to look out for, and we'll see how they put it to use. Now, spending a lot of time as Textbook Dota as they're looking to make their third pickup here, cutting about 40 seconds into their reserve time already. I mean, not too big a deal as long as you have a general game plan surrounding it. But if they're wasting too much time, it could cost them in the draft. Maybe panic pick something that they don't mean to. But either way, we got a Luna out here, so definitely looks like it's going to be a bit of a longer game for Textbook Dota. They're aiming to get some safer lanes up and running, and just kind of drag it out to a point where in the mid to late game, in that 25 to 30 minute mark, they can start just making their mark and really hitting back hard. Now, Tryhard Dota, their draft is looking a lot more ganky, a lot more just kind of obnoxious B everywhere. And Shadow Shaman kind of gives you that pushing power potential, but he's also a great smoke anchor as well because, as I said, when his spells are max, he's got 8.5 seconds of continuous disable. Now, that's a little lower at level 1 and 2. I mean, at level 1 for both spells, you've got a 4-second disable, which is still huge, but he's got that available to him. Now, the Venomancer is picked up, so the Nyx Assassin will be heading elsewhere. He's not going to be a support role this game, unless the Shadow Shaman's heading mid, which I don't think is going to be the case. I have a feeling the Shadow Shaman and the Venomancer are going to be the supports, and the Nyx Assassin will probably be heading to the offlane. We've seen a lot of offlane Nyxes, so I think that's where he's going to be headed. Mirana, potentially on that mid role, could also be on the tri-lane. Shackles are a great setup and can cause a lot of havoc. But, yeah, I don't know. I think this would be a pretty solid tri-lane if they did want to run it as such. They could throw that up towards that Luna, but it's always really risky running an aggressive tri-lane against a Visage because for every point of damage you do, he's going to throw a huge stack of Soul Assumption back in your face. And with a couple... Well, I mean, all of these heroes are actually really, really squishy. The advantage they have is that they have a lot of control and zoning tools. So, I mean, if it does come down to just a one-on-one man fight, these heroes are going to explode pretty quickly. And I mean, Luna takes a lot of damage. Visage, not so much, but Visage can dish it right back out. And I mean, he will take half of any of these heroes' life pools with a single Soul Assumption if it is max stacked. So, I have a feeling that despite the ability to go for an aggressive tri-lane with these three heroes, it may not be an intelligent idea in this game. Instead, I think we're probably going to see another carry picked up, Mirana on the mid-roll, Nyx Assassin on the off-lane, and then a bit of a safer carry. Now, they do have decent anti-push on this team as well, so they could go for a pretty greedy support if they wanted, something along the lines of an anti-mage, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of aggression coming their way, and there's not a huge amount of lockdown on Textbook Dota. They've got a slow on the Visage, they've got... Timbersaw just does a lot of damage. They've got a kind of mini stun on Luna, and then I mean Invoker brings a lot to the table, but I don't know if it's enough. Now the TA is going to be the pickup, and I really like this. TA always left for a last pick because she's really easy to counter. But now seeing that the Invoker is, well, I mean there's not really a hero on Textbook Dota that has the dots to really break down that refraction shield. So she's going to have a really good time on that mid lane. And Invoker versus TA, it's kind of a back and forth matchup. It depends how the players play it. But I think if better rune control goes to Tryhard Dota or P252, they are really going to dominate that mid lane. But I mean, you can always swing the favor of mid with ganks, with rune control, etc. So I think this is a pretty even matchup, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Now, looking for a final support is Textbook Dota, and they do take the Abaddon. So seeing that the Mirana is going to be on the tri lane, they are taking that Abaddon. Now, TA, of course, mid hero, which leads me to believe that Nick's on the off lane, and then this will be a tri lane here. So, oh boy, you better not be okay. All right, Dota scares me every single time, man. Every time you jump in and all the heroes start loading in, it hangs out for a second and almost looked like it was going to crash. Now, as I was saying, the Templar Assassin will be heading to the mid, so this will be a tri-lane. But Abaddon, so good. And I think Textbook Dota, if it is tri-lane versus tri-lane, is going to win the tri-lane hard. And, I mean, Abaddon is just so good for dealing with that Mirana in any fashion, really. And Visage, as I said, every point of damage that gets dished out against them will get shoved right back in their face. And, I mean, Luna's not too bad a brawler herself, and I think pound for pound she hits a lot harder than the Mirana. The only advantage she has is, the only advantage that Mirana has is that she can get that arrow right off the bat. So I think when it comes down to it, and the Shackle goes out on a hero, the Aphotic Shield will break it, and even if the arrow hits after that, I mean, it hits on a shield and no harm is done. So heading down to the safe lane is the Luna, and I'm curious to see if they're actually going to meet it. Now, it looks like the Nyx is heading down towards the off lane on his own, so I think they realize that they're in a bad tri-lane matchup there, and they're just going to send the Mirana to the safe lane. Now, this creates a lot of problems for later on, though, because Mirana, not a great one support, and the only real reason people really prefer her on the tri-lane is because she can dish out a lot of damage with those arrow combos. So right now I'm a little worried for the state of P252 as they're moving forward. I think they could end up in a lot of trouble. Now Timbersaw finds himself a couple of enemies and ends up running himself away. Sentry Ward does get dropped down in the trees, and I think this Sentry Ward actually blocks this camp. I think that was really dumb. The box for this camp goes about here. And so I think this ward will actually block them. And they placed the Sentry Ward to look for Timbersaw's ward, but he never actually placed it. So they just blocked their own camp, and they actually can't de-ward their own ward, which is it's going to be a huge problem here. But Nyx, down in that off lane, drops a ward here, and I don't know if this actually blocks this camp either. So THD, not off to a fantastic start, I don't feel. But anyways, yeah, it is going to be a safe tri-lane from Textbook Dota. They're going to have that Luna farming down on the bottom, and I really like their chances. Now, I didn't get a chance to introduce the teams, and since we got no action in minute 1, let me get onto that. So we got War Chief playing on that Abaddon. Got French Tenjin playing on the Luna. Visage going to be played by Mr. Spike. Up on that mid lane for Textbook Dota, we got Nerky playing on the Invoker. Up on top lane, we got Anik going to be taking up that Timbersaw. Now on the other side of the field, on THD P252, we've got Whatever playing on that Shadow Shaman. Ahalundak. Nope, can't do it. Russian name, Venomancer. And Tiburon, he'll be playing on the Templar Assassin. Down on bottom, we've got Katsuo Kawaii playing on the Nyx Assassin. So, yeah. You guys got bad names, man. Fix it. I like Textbook Dota. Make my job easy. Anyways, CS tab pulled up right here. Not going to show too much right now as we're only a creep wave in, but keep an eye on that as things get underway here. Now, mid lane, like I said, this is going to be the lane to watch. Tia just picked up her bottle. She's going to have that flying out to her in a second. But looks like Invoker is going to be going for the Quas Wex build. And I say that because generally, if you're going Quas Wex, you will start off with a point of Quas. If you're going Quas Exort, you'll start off with a point of Exort. It's all about the skill that you want at level 2, because you'll pick up Exort at level 2, and then grab a spell out of the 3 orbs that you've invoked of your first choice, which is Cold Snap in this situation because he wants to go for Quas Wex, but if he was going Quas Exort, you'd prefer the Sunstrike. I would, usually. I mean, some people prefer otherwise, but I don't know. Nyx Assassin over here, just trying to sap up some XP from the pull. He's not going to be getting much out of this, and oh, are they going to spot him out? They should spot him out here. This is the one thing that really I don't like so much about the offlane Nyx is, as I was mentioning in the draft, I'm not a huge fan of it, and mainly because he has no real tools for dueling with supports and getting anything much out of his lane. When you run an offlane Nyx, he kind of just has to do this sort of thing and get whatever he can out of the lane. If you got something like a Clockwork, you can fire a rocket flare over here. You got something like a Bounty Hunter, he can, run himself in here. Oops, I'm pinging. You can just run himself in here and just sit on top of it with the stealth. And, he's got the ability to play a lot safer. Now, Nyx, he's a safe support, and I mean, as these guys chase him down, you'll see he's going to pop off the Spike Carapace. Oh, maybe he won't even. Yeah, he just walks away. Not going to waste his mana, but, I mean, he can just pop off that Spike Carapace and run away. And he's usually fine from then on. But the thing is that, it's not ability to duel, it's not ability to force yourself into a better position. All you're doing is protecting yourself while you scuttle away. So it's really easy to deny an offlane Nyx a lot of XP, and I mean, you can see this with his Visage right here. I mean, Nyx can't do anything. You can't throw attacks back at him. You can't really out-regen this Visage, and so Visage just throws out a couple auto attacks and pushes him back to the tower while the Luna is busy farming. So, I mean, this is how this usually plays out, and I think Nyx gets a little bit of EXP, he'll be fine, he'll be able to start ganking at level 6, but I definitely think there are better options for the offlane. It's just my personal opinion, man. Don't take it too seriously, though. And his ward has died off at 3 minutes here, and it looks like the Harpies have spawned, so not going to be too big a deal. Now the Nyx Assassin coming over here to contest the pull, finds himself a last hit, so he's got 2 now, which is a little better than the Timbersaw, who's 1-0. But Timber's been getting denied pretty hard in the fact that this Venomancer is always there with a Gale, and Gale's a lot of damage that Timbersaw can't really negate with that reactive armor. I mean, he can get a little bit of regen out of it, but not enough to negate the damage of that. So now that we're a couple minutes in, let's look towards the CS and see who's doing the best on that front. We got 20 and 20 on the Templar Assassin and the Luna, so both of them doing really well off the bat. The one position Mirana, not doing the greatest. She's about 4 CS behind. It is a full wave of lost gold, so fortunately not doing too great. She misses another one there. I mean, it's no big deal. We have a gank coming into mid, though. Invoker moves himself a little too far forward and is in shackle range. TA moving forward, gets a meld strike, 1 attack, 2 attacks, and the Shadow Shaman grabs first blood, and the Invoker is going to drop. So this is what I was talking about, is that this mid lane will trade pretty evenly for a while, and it was, but just that one little gank coming in, finishing off the first blood, will give TA a huge advantage in this, and I mean, she's got rune control now, and we'll have a lot more later. Now, meanwhile, while I was talking about that, Nyx down on the bottom lane, he does fall to a little bit of aggression. They catch him out, and looks like Visage got the kill. I assume a last-minute Soul Assumption finished that off, so Nyx getting picked off, and Textbook Dota grab one for themselves, so
middle tower is under attack.
Both teams 1-1 right now, and lane's playing out pretty evenly, I would say. Veno and Shadow Shaman kind of just looking to see what they can get done here. There is a ward placed up here from the Dire side, so they're really looking to see what they can, what kind of havoc they can cause in this lane. Now Veno and Shadow Shaman hanging off in the wing, looking to see if they can catch this Timbersaw out as he comes a little bit too far forward. Nyx dancing around by the trees here, trying to get whatever he can out of this, and yeah, Timbersaw's too far back, but these supports going balls deep, hanging around, hooking around behind the tower, dropping an aggressive lane ward, and I do believe they've been spotted. Mirana causing a little bit of trouble up here. The Shackle goes out onto the Timbersaw. We do have TP support coming in, but the Timbersaw drops in a matter of seconds. Now the Abaddon is chasing down that Mirana, throws out a Mistcoil, but not going to be able to catch anything out of that. No points in Curse of Avernus, so he can't slow these heroes down. The Invoker's trying to chase it up. Does he have Tornado or anything of the sort? No. He is actually going Quas Exort. I thought he was going Quas Wex, but not the case. Goes Quas Exort and does not have the ability to slow those supports down, so they managed to get that tower dive off and get a kill on the Timbersaw. THD P252 doing really well as they start out this game, getting the second and third kills of the game, even though they lost the first blood in the mid. And on bottom, Nyx still looking to try to, kind of edge his way into here, but, I mean, the second he gets a little too far forward, I mean, Visage just starts poking him away with these auto attacks, and, I mean, he's getting his mana burned, and he's starting to fight back, but the second he fights back, this Luna walks up and finishes the job. Well, doesn't finish the job, but helps out in that harass. So I think Nyx has secured himself a little bit of XP for now, but he's still 4-1, and I mean, Timbersaw 2-1 as well, so can't really be talking, but either way. Now, TA is going for an interesting pickup. Grabs a Hand of Midas on the mid lane. Generally, if you get that kind of money early on, you just want to get a Blink Dagger and go aggressive with the TA, but it looks like THD is going to want to bank on this Templar Assassin, carrying them in the late game, because as I said, that one position Mirana does not stand pound for pound against a Luna. Now, the incredible burst damage from TA and her ability to just kind of snake in and out of fights and do lots of damage will allow them to, I think, brawl with that Luna in the late game. So I think Midas isn't a bad choice, but it could bite them in the ass if they start ganking up this TA and she gets shut down and doesn't have any early game items to show for it. Can't remember who it was, but there was an interview with a player a while back, and they were talking about how, oh, never mind, we got action on the mid lane. Shadow Shaman comes in, and he's trying to make it happen, but the Abaddon is there, throws out the Mistcoil on the Invoker, but it's not going to be enough. Invoker falls, and TA and Shadow Shaman are going to walk out of that just fine. The Grave Chill goes out, but it's not going to do much, and they get out. So a third kill going to THD, P252, and they're rocking this game right off the bat. Now, that interview I was talking about, he said, you know, the question was posed to him, what is a good time to buy a Midas? Like, when do you buy a Midas? And the answer is basically, if it's not going to delay any of your other items, like if you have the spare gold to purchase it without risking losing another item, oh, the Sunstrike, not close enough, then you pick up a Midas. So, you know, in this scenario, the TA, I think, is going to be a little bit further behind on her Blink Dagger because of it, but, well, if she does go Blink, indeed. I've seen a lot of TAs not going Blink. I don't think it's smart, but, I love it. I love a Blink on TA. And, I mean, maybe it's not a great idea this game. They've got the Invoker and the Timber Saw. They got to knock her out of it. Anyways, Dive's coming in here on the top lane, looking for that Timber. He does whatever damage he can, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. He's going to fall underneath the tower. Meanwhile, the Venomats are taking a lot of damage. Sunstrike catches out the Mirana. 2 kills secured in that exchange, and textbook Dota. They lose 1, but they pick up 2 in the exchange, and I think that was a great rotation there. The Invoker right on point with the Sunstrikes, and they do manage to get themselves a decent trade out of that. That Timbersaw has been bullied quite hard in that lane, but the damage that he managed to do before he fell was enough, and there you go, they take that. Templar Assassin, once again, like I said, in full control of the runes right now. Has an invis to her name. Gets cold snapped up. She's just going to meld until that wears off, and then might go back in. Yeah, just proceeds back to farming. She is still sitting on top of the CS board at 56 and 25, so doing really, really good. Expect her to be a huge factor in this game. Now, Mirana, dishing out a ton of damage on this Visage. Might be able to turn it around and finish him off. She leaps forward. 1 attack, 2 attacks. The Soul Assumption does go out, which might cost Mirana her life. It does. But she did get the Visage, and I don't think that was a great trade. I mean, if you're one position, you never want to trade for a support. And I mean, she should have known that if she was going to leap forward, she was going to die there. There was not much of a... I mean, that's pretty much it. You're not going to get out of that. Anyways, TA catches herself a Haste Rune, and this is one of the most potent runes on Templar Assassin, because with Refraction up, you can chase under a tower, you can do anything, really, and that movement speed will allow you to get yourself out of any sticky situations that you get yourself into when you do that. Double damage and Haste Runes are pretty much always a free kill on TA just because of her ability to amp her own damage and just get in the enemy's face and cause a lot of havoc. So Luna, now sitting on drums and treads, did not opt to go for a Midas herself, so she's not getting that accelerated gold gain, but she does have a little bit of power to brawl, and like I said, when that 25 to 30 minute mark comes, I think we could see this textbook Dota squad really start to take off. Now, Luna gets the kill on Luna. I meant to say, oh man, the Impale cancels out that TP. Nyx Assassin gets the kill on Abaddon, and TA ran all the way down here with that Haste Rune, see if she could help, but just wasn't the case. Now, they are going to push on this Tier 1. I mean, they have every right to. 2 heroes down and 3 heroes there present themselves. Actually, the Nyx is going back because he's a little bit low, but the TA and the Luna should be able to dish out a ton of damage onto this tower, and indeed they are slowing up this creep wave with the trap, and it is traded for... Actually, no, that's not a trade. It's 2 Tier 1 towers going down at the exact same time. Visage killed the Shadow Shaman, and Luna... She was looking to see if you could pick up some Serpent Wars, but she's eating a lot of damage. So 2 Tier 1s and a kill going the way of P252 right off the bat. Looking very, very strong, and really using this early game advantage to kind of push their advantage in this situation. like I said, they got a pretty early game oriented lineup. The TA is the only person that's really going to carry into the late game, and even then, she's not really considered a traditional carry. Though she can dish out comparable amounts of damage to other carries, you know, she's still not like considered that one role. You usually don't put her on a safe lane. She doesn't like, you know, there are times where she is not the priority for Aegis of the Immortal, etc., etc. So I think in this game she is going to end up being the one position because even though the Mirana has gone for a Midas, Mirana's still, just pound for pound, not as great as TA or otherwise. Now, birds get dropped for the sake of heal there. And Arrow going to fly into mid lane, does catch out the Invoker. He gets pinged out right off the bat. They drop the trap. TA's going in, but I think she realizes it's a bad idea. She sees how many supports are there, and her and Mirana disengage, jump back, and we'll just see to farm up the mid lane passively. Nick's assassin being pinged out here. They know he's there. Got that ward up, and he's just going to walk himself back across the river. No harm, no foul. Top lane, Luna still just trying to get whatever farm she can, and you know, she's just hold out their lanes long enough that Luna can get a lot of farm under her belt. She should be fine, and I do believe they've got the lineup to do that. I mean, Chakram being thrown out from the Timbersaw, you get all of Invoker's spells, and I mean, Abaddon and Visage, not great lane clearers, but they are good at you know. We got quite a big stack of heroes up on that mid lane. The Nyx and the Shadow Shaman have rotated back around. They're sitting there. Venomancer wards dropping down left, right, and center, and pushing down this tower now. It's going to take a little bit of damage from the wards, and not going to be pushed on entirely. As like I said, there is a pretty defensive lineup here. And Invoker, I mean, when he gets to level 25, he's got a lot of, well, I mean, even before that, levels 16 and upwards, he's got a lot of ability to hold back creep waves, but Quas Exort Invoker, not so much. Now, the Serpent Wards go down. TA causing a lot of trouble here, and this tower is looking to be in a pretty bad position. They're moving forward. TA is tanking up the tower shots with the Refraction. The Serpent Wards are going to town. Timbersaw is teleported in, and he's going to look to help this out. The Moonlight Shadow goes out, but it's not enough. Templar Assassin drops, getting herself caught a little bit too far forward, and the Shadow Shaman does kill the tower. Now, Venomancer comes in, pops off the ultimate. Viz is dropping really low. He does fall. And with the Moonlight Shadow, the Venomancer is going to retreat. Nick's now looking for some action. He's moved up. That is not a Vendetta, so he won't get the extra damage. But, oh, Timbersaw causing a lot of trouble. Is he going to manage to finish off the Venomancer? Oh, that Sunstrike just barely off the mark. Not the case. Timbersaw getting caught out here. He's going to get finished off. Oh my god, the Visage Stones and the Magic Wand might secure him. Nope, never mind. Spike Carapace stuns him up, and he gets caught out. So a couple kills go in the way of THD, and they do manage to get the tower. There was no denial there, so really taking what they want and pushing that advantage. And like I said, there is good ability to play defensively on textbook Dota, but they kind of didn't get to put it into effect that round. Like I said, Invoker not great at clearing lanes since he's gone Quas Exort, and I think this game would have been the game for Quas Wex. But oh wait, he sunstruck the spawn and got it. Oh man, I wish I had seen that coming. Bummer. Mirana gets the tower, leaps herself away to safety, and should be fine. The Luna pops off the drums to chase it and sees her going into the trees. Oh no! Not enough. It does not drop the Lucent Beam, and Mirana gets herself out. So relatively low kill score right now, 7-9. Well, that's not relatively low. That's a kill a minute. Talking on my ass here. Alright, so let's take ourselves a peek at the heroes' items here. We've got Midas up on both the TA and the Mirana, so they're going to do well in the late game. We got a Blake Taker on both Nyx and Shadow Shaman, so a lot of initiation power there, and the Venomancer almost completing a mech. Textbook Dota, they've got a Headdress up on the Visage. He's going to be going for the mechanism, but not quite there now. The Aegis of the Immortal has been picked up by the Templar Assassins. They finish off Roche, getting traded for a Tier 1 tower. Drums and what looks to be probably a Helm of the Dominator up by the Luna, and not too much else of note on the side of Textbook. They're just grouping up and hoping they can make something happen, which I think is probably the best course of action, especially considering that they really can't fight right now. I mean, that Aegis up on TA is going to mean that pretty much every fight is going to be a loss, so instead they're just going to try to trade whatever towers they can. They find the Nyx with that Sentry Ward that just gets dropped down, but he's going to pop off the Spike Carapace, try to run away. I think he's going to be just fine. They're going to get the Tier 2 tower here without question, but they are going to trade it for their Tier 2 mid, which is arguably a little bit of a better tower to take. But, I mean, at the same time, you can't really fight this, like I said. T getting right up in their grill, popping off the tracks, and, or popping off the traps, rather, not the tracks. It's Bounty Hunter. These Venomancer wards creating kind of a barrier, a little bit of a area where you can't really move into because you're going to get slowed down by that neurotoxin. And I mean, like I said, that's that spacing tool that's coming into effect for THD. They got the wards, and eventually they will have serpent wards as well that they can just drop down in this area and really just make it hard to move up and engage. You have to deal with that before you can move forward, and they don't really have anything to deal with it. But yeah, let's take a peek at the graphs while we're paused here. We got about a 10k gold advantage in the favor of THD, P252, and oops. Where's EXP? There's EXP. 5k gold advantage in THD's, or XP advantage. So a little bit less of an advantage. THD, or textbook Dota, taking a taking a decent chunk of fights, doing all right in the XP, but still behind. So I think the obvious advantage at this point is on the side of P252, but I don't think it's impossible for textbook to come back. Like I said, they do have a great 25 to 30 minute team. Especially because that Invoker will start getting his levels up. The Luna will hopefully accelerate her farm a little bit and get a lot stronger. Once she finishes up that Helm of the Dominator, hopefully she can start stacking up some Ancients and flash farming a little bit. But, I mean, the pressure that's been created so far by P252 may hamper that quite a bit. Now, I mean, a little later on as well, Abaddon's going to get pretty tanky. His ultimate's going to start doing work, and Visage is just a powerhouse at all stages of the game. Timbersaw as well. I mean, if he gets a Bloodstone up eventually, he'll be doing well. But there's a smoke gank up from the side of textbook Dota. Really want him to try to make something happen, but I mean, they know where all 5 heroes are, and it's not going to be that way. Serpent Wards go down on the tier 2, and this tower's going to fall without question. There it goes. It falls. Templar Assassin takes the last hit. So a lot of gold in her pockets right now. She can finish up that full Manta style if she wants it right now, and take up this stacked up camp. Still got the Aegis under her belt, so lots and lots and lots of stuff going Templar Assassin's way. I mean, she's only 1-1-1, but at the same time, she's gotten a lot of farm. She's gotten Roche, and she's been doing all right. No Blink Dagger, though. Bugs the hell out of me. Blink Dagger is the best item on TA. This ward going to get removed, and I mean, there are wards everywhere. Look at this. We've got Venom wards here, 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 everywhere. We got a Observer ward there, and there was an Observer ward up here until it got dewarded. So, I mean, really good job by both teams, in fact. We've got ward over here, ward over here. So, I mean, textbook kind of holding their own for now, but they can be really in trouble if these fights continue to go in the other direction. Age is going to be reclaimed in 3 minutes here, so we'll be able to see when the next Roche spawns, when that wears out. Actually, a couple minutes after. But, yeah. So, game plan for textbook. What do they do in this situation? How do they get themselves out of trouble and back into this game? Well, I think, right now, you need that Luna just out of fights, because she really can't do anything right now. I mean, it looks like she's abandoned the Helm of the Dominator and is going straight for a Black King bar, which may be the best course of action considering what's going on right now, but there is a lot of physical damage on THD. I mean, between the potential Vendetta Strike, you've got the Mirana dishing out all of her damage. She actually got an Orchid up, so she's hitting for about 120 or 140 points of damage, and she's hitting really fast too. The Templar Assassin, of course, going to be the biggest cause of issues. She's only sitting on 124 damage, but that gets amped by 60 when she's got that refraction shield up. 80 actually. 80 with the refraction up, as well as the fact that she's still got another item to buy. So she's going to be ripping through the Luna, even if she has a BKB up. So yeah, I don't know. Game plan, I think you just need to get the Luna farm. And how you get the Luna farm, I'm still not sure, because THD is creating a lot of pressure in a lot of lanes. And I mean, at that point where they were pushing the tier 2, Luna could have been up here farming up all this, and right now she could be down here. But they really don't know that. They don't have, they don't know where THD is hiding. And I mean, they're keeping the Venomancer in the back. The TA is up front farming. But I mean, the Nyx and the Shadow Shaman have just been sneaky snakes all game long, hiding in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to jump. And Mirana is also in another lane as well, so there's really nowhere quite safe to go. Like, there are safe spots, but they just don't know where that is. Now, Impale does miss, and the Luna will manage to get herself out of this, but goes back in to throw a couple attacks. That could have been scary if the Shadow Shaman decided to turn around and drop the shackles. That's not the case. It's farming up in base now, and Timbersaw takes a lot of that farm. Just just on their last legs now, trying to hold out, try to secure their base. And I mean, if they can take a really good fight in base, I think they'll be okay. They do have a lot of great spells on their team. I mean, if they can get that Eclipse off, if they get good channel to Chakram into all of Timbersaw's abilities, dishing out the damage. If Invoker drops a Meatball, maybe gets a Deafening Blast or something, I think they definitely have a great ability to fight inside their base, but it's really going to depend on that. Now, Smoking kind of popped off right off the bat. They jumped forward for the Mirana, but she just turns around and leaps away as no more procs came out on that Cold Snap. And now the Visage Birds are going to stun her up. They're looking for her, but I don't know if they have the ability to chase. I mean, she's a lot faster than any of them. And the Moonlight Shadow is going to be popped off as a last resort to get him out of this. But Nyxass in the middle of all this, looking for an Impale. Does only catch out one, but the arrow going to latch. Serpent Wards are down, and now the Eclipse has popped off as well. Venomancer ulti goes flying. The Nyxass trying to run herself away, but with that Moonlight Shadow, they're going to be really safe. Now, Timbersaw trying to run himself away in the middle of that. He will manage to TP out as well. The Luna, the Invoker, and the Visage all drop in the midst of that, and Abaddon going to fall as well. So 4-0 white, and Timbersaw only got out because he managed to TP in the trees. Oof, that was not a good fight, and I think this may be a... this is definitely a cracked Rax. Whether or not it's a GG, we'll have to see. I mean, these are best of ones in this group stage, or in this round of 16, and so no team's really going to want to sacrifice their chances quite yet, but I mean, this is a pretty ugly situation. This tower is taking a lot of damage. They do fortify for it. Luna's back up, as well as the Abaddon. The Invoker will be up in 5 seconds. Now they're chasing in on the Timbersaw. They're going to finish him off, actually. A lot of damage, and the Shadow Shaman does get the kill, but the oh man, the Mistcoil will finish that off. They do manage... Oh, who got the gem? Who got the gem? Mirana got the gem. So that is big. Luna's going to fall again. Wait, one more attack. There it goes. Luna's going to fall, and the Abaddon drops as well. The Shadow Shaman, the only casualty on the side of THD. Sunstrike going to come in, finishes off the Venomancer. Nice shot there by the Invoker. They do manage to make that happen. The Timbersaw buys back, and he's going to want to jump in here immediately and try to hold off these racks. I mean, they've taken huge, serious losses right now, but who knows if they will actually make something of it. You should SS pot him? What's SS? I don't know. You should Shadow Shaman pot him. Pot him of the moon. Anyways. Yeah, so a lot of serious losses being taken there by Textbook Dota. They lost, I think, 4 heroes up front, then 3 on the back end of that fight, and they had to buy back. And I think all that they took out of that was a Shadow Shaman and a Venomancer. So definitely not what they needed here. Now, we will be seeing when Roche is going to spawn in just a mere moment here. Let's keep an eye on that. One more second, and... Da-da-da-da. Come on. Alright, so it's almost going to be the full 2 more minutes. So we're looking at about a 25-minute, 50-second Roshan spawn time. And so they're gonna THD is gonna have to wait a little bit longer before they can get that. Now Roshan is Sunstruck there. Well, the Roshan pit. They're checking it out, but yeah. TA, what is she choosing to go for? So she didn't go for the Midas. Instead, she went for a straight-up Desolator. And well, no, I'm looking at Midas while I'm talking about getting a Manta style. She didn't go for the Manta. She went directly for a Desolator. I feel that's completely justified. Pick up there. Deso, so strong. And, she will have a Black King bar on her as well, so looking really, really scary right now. 150 CS under her belt, 3, 1, and 5, and huge amounts of damage to be dealt. He does finally have that mech up, so he's going to be able to team fight a little bit better. And let's actually take a look at those, the items. See where we're sitting at. So Invoker finally grabbed himself a 4-staff. Nothing new on the Luna, really, from the last time we checked on her. The mechanism is up on the Visage, but, I mean, I don't know if all of this is really going to matter up against everything that is on the enemy team. 4-staff and a Blink Dagger on the Nyx Assassin. Blink Dagger and heading towards an Aghanims is the Shadow Shaman. And we've got TA with everything we just talked about. The mech up on the Venomancer, and I'm sure he's got some gold in the bank. And the Mirana as well. She's got an Orchid, a Helm of the Dominator, and Aquila, and she's got the Gem of True Sight now, too. Not really sure they need to be keeping that gem active on the board. I mean, actually, who bought the gem originally? I don't imagine they bought it just for Invoker. Oh man, action down on the bottom lane. They do find the Timbersaw and finish him off with an Ether Shock. Now looking for that Venomancer, but he gets 4-staffed out, and he's in a lot of trouble.
Barracks are under attack.
The Shadow was popped off. Meanwhile, Mirana up on the top lane, chipping away at this top tier 1, or tier 3 rather. And the Invoker's going to come in and try to cause some trouble, but he gets Orchided up, and a lot of damage dealt. The Mirana is going to push him back, and we might see a Sunstrike coming out for this Mirana. You know where she is. There it goes. No, she bobs and weaves, ducks, dips, dodges, dives, and ducks, and dodges.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Watch that movie again. Anyways, Visage getting cut out of the base. A lot of damage being dealt out, and with another couple auto attacks, maybe. No, he gets magic wand off. Not enough. The Eclipse goes off, but oh my god, every single bounce on a creep, save for a couple. Those were the most unlucky Eclipse procs I have ever seen in my life. Now, ensnaring, the Shackle goes out on the Invoker, and I think we're going to be seeing a GG here pretty soon. I mean, THD, P252 asserting their dominance and just taking whatever they want inside the Radiant base. Not much that can be done, and GG well played is the call from Mr. Spike. Good luck, gents. Good luck next round. This is what I like to see, some prime gentlemanly sportsmanship, and well done thrown out as well. I mean, I got to agree. Well done, well played by P252. Really, really showing what they can do in this tournament. Now completely undefeated into the round of 8, and that is going to be a scary team to deal with. They're looking really, really strong, and we'll see how they match up just a little later today. But yeah, that was definitely exciting. All right, so thank you guys, everybody, so much for watching. We will have the round of 8 being played at 9:30 EST, so that's about 25 minutes from now. I'll get the lobby up in about 10, so stay tuned, keep the stream open in the background, but for now you can go make yourself a sandwich, go for a walk outside, pet the dog, do whatever you gotta do, and I will see you back here in just a few moments. This has been the Tactic Hive Beta Cup. I have been Captain Canuck, and I will see you in a few.